Welcome to the Engineering, Emotions, and Energy podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today, a topic that a lot of you, either you've experienced this challenge yourself or you know people that do, and how can you look at it a possible different way that gives you a lot more opportunity to have the feeling. And when you have the feeling you want, you can be having the life that you want. Because really, when we're talking about what we want out of life, usually if we look at it really closely, it's all about a feeling, right? Like, oh, I want a car, I want to get good grades, I want to make more money, oh, I want to marry this person, or I want to go on this trip. And when we kind of like dig a little deeper about, why do you want each of those? Usually it comes down to like, well, I want to feel loved, I want to feel happiness, I want to feel joy, I want to feel fun, I want to feel adventure. You want to feel something. So today's topic is about anxiety. And do you view yourself as an anxious person, or know people that identify themselves as, anxious? Like, oh, I have anxiety. I am anxious. And that's not to say that, there isn't, real clinical anxiety that, could benefit from medical slash prescription assistance. So I'm not saying definitely would advise, go check out, with a medical professional, these types of things. Yet sometimes, we're not actually to the point where that's necessary. We're just not having a good relationship with our language and the experiences that we're having internally when we react to what's going on in our lives, right? So let's take a look at this. So earlier today, I had a dental root planing procedure, which, if you're not familiar, and I wasn't too familiar, it's basically, I would say, it's like the equivalent of maybe you hose down your driveway or something like that, or your the side of your house to get it clean. This is the equivalent of getting the most powerful power washer and taking that to your teeth and your gums and stuff like that. So they literally have to numb up the all, like, all of your gums in your mouth, because it's that intense of a cleaning procedure. And it's also so intense that they could only do half the mouth at a time. So today I only had the right side of my mouth done, and in a few weeks I'll have to do the left side, because it was about 2 hours um, just for the procedure. And that didn't include the half hour before, where there were X-rays that had to be taken. And so this is one of those things where a lot of people are going like, "Oh my gosh, this is like the dentist quadrupled," and a lot of people would get into fear and anxiety and, oh my gosh, stressing out, blood pressure rising, and then what for a lot of people they would have been freaking out with is they start doing the X-rays, and the woman doing the X-ray starts having all sorts of problems with the machine, like it's not working, trying to plug it into one USB port, because they've upgraded the technology. They're now using the technology from like 2000 2003, so it's no longer the 1960s old X-ray thing where they go behind a lead shield where you're wearing a little lead apron, but the rest of your parts are exposed to was probably unnecessarily large amounts of X-rays. So now it's lower dosage that they can handheld it while it's hooked up to a USB reader and get instant results, and they just see it there on the computer. That's how it's supposed to work. They were having all sorts of issues, and they even moved me into another room. They're like, well, let's try another computer, another room, and another X-ray gun. And the woman doing it started going like, oh, this is just a nightmare. This is one of the worst possible things that can happen in my job. And I could tell she was getting anxious, and I'm like, I don't want her anxious. I want her calm, because I want them to be focused and relaxed and enjoyable. And so just like, oh, it's totally fine. It's going to be good. We're going to get through this. And, and then, the rest of the appointment is going to go really well. And eventually figured it out. And she was like, oh, I'm so happy. These are turning out perfect. These are amazing. I'm like, yeah, they are really amazing. We are really good at this. This is really, really fun. And, so had the X-rays and then got into the procedure. And it was one of those moments. And I encourage you to do this as often as you possibly can, because it's something that many of us that grow up in our Western culture don't do nearly often enough. Is notice when you do something like really, really, really fucking amazing and really cool, like when there's something that would make most average people get really upset and really frustrated. I was really calm and really relaxed because that was the intention that I had, going into it. Like for the last few days, I've just been setting my intention, putting myself into a little self-hypnosis and doing meditations where I visualize how smooth and calm and whatever this whole procedure is going to be. And I wasn't going to let the little x-ray machine change that, right before game time. Absolutely not. And so I stayed calm and was able to help, the person working stay calm. And then we had a really good, as good as can be when, someone's in your mouth for about 2.5 hours. Um, you know, and I was almost, falling asleep, taking a nap, and they almost had to go like, "Hey, it seems like that's bothering you a little bit. Do you want a little bit more anesthetic injected there?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess a little bit more would be enough. Can I get back to my nap?" Um, and so, yes, it is really cool that I have the ability to do that, and you can too. These are all stuff that's built up over, well, I've been at it many, many years. It doesn't necessarily have to take as long as it's taken me. I've, have ways that make it a lot easier. That my Perfect Life meditation system, tools of that, and the Learn Instant Relaxation. Um, and so this is all stuff that's possible, but it doesn't even matter if it's possible. What matters is, are you motivated to even try it out? Do you actually want to be the person that, can be in a situation like that, and you can notice that you might want to feel anxious, that that this would be an anxiety inducing event, yet you can be aware of that and then consciously choose, you know what, I'm going to stay relaxed and I'm going to see if I can, help calm this out and make this smoother, make this easier, make this more relaxed so that it's more full of well-being, more relaxing, and more effective overall for everybody else. So, you know, part of that is just noticing, what do you say when you talk to yourself when something like that happens? Like if something's not going your way, do you start, ratcheting it up, saying like, "Oh, this always happens." Like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm feeling anxious. Why am I such an anxious person? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening again. This always happens to me. This has happened for so long. Like, oh, why does this always happen?" And that type of self-talk just can kind of like escalate it more and more and more. Whereas if we can become aware of that, then we have the chance of possibly saying something else that could be a little bit more helpful. And when you're just getting started out, you might not actually have a different experience for a while, but as you go on, you give yourself a bit of a chance. You have the opportunity. Because if you go from "I am anxious," why am I always so anxious, to just like, "Oh, I'm noticing that I'm starting to have some anxious feelings. I'm a person right now in this moment experiencing anxious feelings." It's subtle, but it's huge, because the first one is, that's forever. That's, you've been that way, you are that way, you will be that way. The other one is limiting it in time, that it's at least in this moment in time, I am experiencing this feeling, and there creates what I like to call, and a lot of people would call, some distance between you and the feeling. Because often when we're saying like, "I am anxious, I am upset," there's no distance between you and the feeling. You have become that. You are embodying that. Now, some feelings that can be fantastic. I am love. I am abundant. I am confident. Yes, yes. Have as little distance between those types of feelings and yourself as much as possible. Yet, I am angry. I am tired. I am a jerk. I am depressed. I am anxious. These feelings, the more distance we can get from them as much as possible, the better it is for us, and not just you, those around you. Because if you have a little distance, then you also have a chance of going like, "You know what? I don't want to feel this way anymore. I'm going to do something differently. I'm maybe going to go take a walk, or I'm going to take some deep breathing. Take some deep breaths." Or I'm just going to focus on how grateful I am that I can be here breathing and noticing these things, and that I had some food today, and that I'm likely going to have a meal later today. And oh, now I'm a person feeling really, really good. I am a really grateful person that I can notice my thoughts and my feelings, and I can place my attention wherever I want them to be. So, is this something that you feel is worthwhile, or is this something you've already started to play with? And have you started to notice any changes in how it's going? So I'd really like you, let me know your thoughts on this topic. Just that little shift of, I am versus I currently feel, and then gives you half a chance to maybe decide to do a different behavior and lead yourself to a different way of feeling. Because a different way of feeling is often why we're doing just about anything we're doing in life, because we're looking to have the most amazing possible feelings we can feel, while we're alive, right? Like just feeling lots of love, feeling lots of abundance, feeling lots of joy, feeling lots and lots of adventure, feeling lots of growth as well, right? And that's what we're here trying to do on this show, is helping you with that growth part. So, and also helping you feel less stressed, more energetic, and being able to get aligned with your purpose in life. So that's what we're all about here on the Engineering Emotions and Energy podcast. So I'm Justin Wink, Ph.D. You can email me, podcast@justinwink.com. Find me on all the social media. Please rate this and, subscribe as well. And we'll talk to you soon. Good day.